No detective knocked on his door. No warrant was signed by a judge. No sirens. No interrogation room. One morning, David Chen's life simply stopped working. His bank cards were declined. His flight was canceled. And his employer asked him into a conference room with security guards waiting outside. The computer had decided he was guilty. What happens when the system designed to protect us becomes the thing we need protection from? David Chen was 34 years old, a software engineer in Seattle, planning his wedding. No criminal record, no debt, no enemies. In January 2023, multiple automated systems flagged him as high risk all at once. Banking, travel, employment. Not because of something he did, but because of something the systems believed. This isn't science fiction. This is algorithmic decision-making touching real lives. January 15th. David bought his usual coffee near his office. The payment was declined. Minutes later, every account was frozen. Checking, savings, credit cards. When he called the bank, the explanation was vague and final. Your accounts are under algorithmic review for suspicious activity. No human name, no timeline, no appeal. 2 days later, at SeaTac Airport, David was pulled aside for secondary screening. 3 hours passed. Then a quiet sentence that changed everything. You appear on a risk assessment watch list. You're advised not to travel. No reason given. No authority claiming ownership. Just the system. By January 20th, it reached his workplace. A background check vendor flagged him for financial irregularities and travel restrictions. End quote. HR placed him on administrative leave. No meeting, no explanation, no human review. The systems meant to detect fraud had turned on an innocent engineer. And then came the cascade. The frozen accounts caused his mortgage payment to bounce. Auto delinquency notices followed. Credit monitoring systems dropped his score by 150 points. Insurance algorithms reclassified him as high risk. Premiums increased. Coverage changed. Even his gym membership was suspended. Each automated decision fed the next, a feedback loop of digital destruction. Court records later showed what triggered it. An AI system flagged David for anomalous transaction patterns. Routine coffee and lunch purchases near his office, misread as laundering behavior. A facial recognition system linked his driver's license photo to a person under investigation years earlier. 73% confidence. Too low for human certainty. High enough for automated action. Employment screening vendors confirmed alerts were sent automatically, with no requirement for human verification. The systems talked to each other, shared risk signals, amplified the harm. Banks insisted they followed standard fraud protocols. False positives, they said, are the cost of prevention. Screening firms pointed to fine print. Automated flags are informational only. But internal marketing told a different story. Instant, actionable intelligence. Government agencies deflected responsibility to private vendors. Private vendors blamed regulatory silence. And somewhere between them, David disappeared. For 4 months, David fought decisions no human had made. He hired lawyers, submitted identity documents, filed disputes that vanished into automated queues. His wedding was postponed. He couldn't access savings. He couldn't secure credit. The stress triggered anxiety attacks that required treatment. Prospective employers encountered the same flags. Again and again, he became unemployable in his own field. Eventually, he moved back in with his parents, changed careers, adjusted his life around an accusation no one could explain, trying to prove innocence to ghosts. Think of algorithmic decision-making like a spider web. Each system senses vibrations across the network. A false alarm in one corner shakes the entire structure. As researchers like Kathy O'Neill warn, these systems are optimized for efficiency, not fairness. They're trained on biased data, shielded by trade secrets, and legally difficult to challenge. When harm occurs, There is often no human decision-maker, no clear appeal, no obligation to explain, just outcomes. Eventually, after extensive legal pressure, most of David's accounts were restored. Many flags were removed, but not all. Some remained buried in databases, occasionally resurfacing. When he applies for a service, a loan, or a job, algorithmic marks are easy to create and incredibly hard to erase. The most disturbing part of David Chen's story isn't that algorithms make mistakes. It's how easily those mistakes became his reality. Without oversight, without explanation, without consent. If machines can quietly decide guilt, what does innocence even mean anymore? And how many people are already trapped inside systems they don't know exist?